So which one is fine? That was the session. Right click, new, and then you will be writing logout servlet. Click next, add information to the web.xml and then click finish. So let me delete all this stuff and delete this as well. So now what you have got is do because it is a link, it has to be get. For link by default is get. Link cannot have post. So do get, and then from here HTTP session equal to request.get session of false and string username is equal to session. Sorry, you don't have to retrieve, you need to remove it. Session dot remove attribute of whatever, by whatever attribute you have saved. So what is the attribute? This one. You need to remove this attribute from the session scope. After you have removed the attribute from the session scope, session dot invalidate, and then you can print the message. Print writer out is equal to response dot get writer out dot println. Thanks for using our website. And if the user wants to log in again, out dot println, you can specify the link ahref is equal to login, sorry, index underscore one dot jsp. Login again. Generally, this is what they give, and it cannot be guaranteed that you have to do it same way. It depends on the application logic. Because this is an HTML stuff, you will set response dot set content type, that is text slash HTML. Now let us try. Right click and then say run. In the meantime, let me cover the other topics. Now over here, if you see this, destroying the session of the window, we will discuss this. Now over here, from the HTTP session API, we have used invalidate method. Now the important one what we have over here is get creation time. Will give you the time when the session object was created, whereas the get last access time will give you the last time the session was accessed. If you want to know the duration of time for which the user has spent on the website, you can record get creation time, and then you can record get last access time. Get last access time minus get creation time will give you the total duration of time for which the user was present on the website. Then the next what we have is set maximum inactive interval time, and then we have get maximum inactive interval time. So set maximum inactive interval time is if the user is inactive on a web page or on the website. At a web page, if the user is inactive on the website, let's say for a minute, we can do is we can log out the user and then user can.
Atika, you're not audible now.
Hello, from the beginning of now.
No, just now, just you
Okay,
when
okay,
you
fine.
said like how the setting the max in interval, just few seconds.
Okay, fine. So you have got this. Get maximum inactive interval time and set maximum inactive interval time. If you have seen, especially on the banking
So
website, if you have
user will be
inactive,
automatically logged off if you suppose I say like 5 minutes. So if the session is inactive for 5 minutes, user will automatically what happens? That part I did not understand. I did not get here.
okay, fine. The server will log you out automatically. If you have observed the scenario in the banking website. So if you log in and if you log in into the website and you are not in a, what you say interacting with the website, let's say for 5 minutes, then the server will automatically log you out. And if you try to click on any of the links on that page, it will send you to the login page again.
Okay.
I'll show you how to do that. Now, first, index underscore one dot JSP. So if you're writing this index underscore one dot JSP, it will load the index page. Username, okay, John, we kept it right. John, and then the password what you have is John at the rate 12. So let me log in into the website. So, hi John. Now, if you're clicking on the logout, thanks for using our website, and then login again. You click over here, and again it has redirected you to the index page. Now, rather than you clicking log out, the server should log you out. So, if you want the server to log you out, what you have to do is if the server should log you out, then over here in the login servlet, over here we have got this login servlet. So in this login servlet, this is what, okay, this is the place we are writing the logic for login. Over here, what you need to do is session dot set maximum inactive interval time. So this value is in seconds. So anyway, I cannot write 5 minutes. Then so that we, in that case, we need to wait for 5 minutes. I'll just write 5 seconds. That is, if you are inactive for 5 seconds, automatically the session will be destroyed. And then let us run this. Index underscore one dot JSP. Mm, okay, fine. John. I think over. See, null pointer exception. Automatically the session has been destroyed. And when you are trying to retrieve the session object, so automatically the session has been destroyed. When you are trying to retrieve this session object, it is giving you the error message. This one. Now, and then next what you
Can
have
you
is
false
configuring.
functionality again?
Yes.
The false functionality. Can you please explain that one again?
Okay, the false part. Now, the behavior of the web container is if the session object does not exist, it creates. If the session object does not exist, it creates a new session object. But if you are saying false, it should get the existing session object, not the new one. Over here, what happens is after 5 seconds, the session object is destroyed. After 5 seconds, the session object is destroyed. So it is obvious when you are onto the logout servlet page, you expect the same session object. You expect the same session object. Now over here you have got one session object and over here you have got. So the session object is common to both. The session object is common to both the servlets. Mhm. One minute. So I've got two over here. This is one servlet, login servlet, and then the other servlet what we have is logout servlet. So for this login and logout servlet, oh sorry, this is one login servlet and this is the logout servlet. So if you see over here, this is the one session object. This session object, what I say, is common to both the servlets. It is common to both the servlets. So this is your logout servlet and this is the login servlet. And what is happening over here is I'll just write only this piece, this much code under login servlet. Let me just make this bold. Now, as discussed, and then okay, you have this logout servlet. So in this logout servlet, this is the code what you have. I'm just taking only the required code. Okay, fine, done. Now over here, this has created this. That is, if you're calling request.get session, if you don't specify anything, if the session does not exist, it creates a new session object. It creates a new session object. But if in case to understand, if you're specifying it as false, if you're specifying this as false, then it requests or it expects for the existing session object. It will not create the session object if it does not exist. Request.get session of if you don't specify anything. Now if the session object does not exist, the session object does not exist. In this case, it creates a session object. But if in case if I am specifying request.get session of false, now it expects that the object should already be present in the container. That is, the object should already exist. The session should already exist. That's it. You should be already logged in into the system. It should be already present. It should be there by default. In this case, it is false. That is already present in the census. User should be already logged in into the system. Now, if you are specifying this request.get session of false, it will try to.
Atika, suppose Atika, as per our original code, in the login servlet to get session, we don't specify anything true or false. That means create if it does not exist. In the logout, we are specifying false because there we expect the I mean user should have logged in. That means session should have already been created. In case I write something in between like logins, like suppose like say inbox servlet, outbox servlet, the one that we have written. There, if I would like to make use of the session that we have created. I would not specify false there, right? Like just to wherever I would like to make use of the existing one. So what should I do in the inbox or outbox
False.
servlet?
False.
False.
Yes.
False.
Otherwise,
Okay,
what happens
because the
is it
user
will.
should have been logged in. Okay.
Yes. Otherwise, it will create new object if it does not exist. Means you will be able to access any of the page. What you want to do is you want to establish the session at login page only, and that should continue throughout.
Okay.
Generally, what you do
Okay.
on the login
So
page
in
is,
our case, uh,
hmm,
the reason why it threw the null pointer exception is because maximum inactive interval time was met and the object was automatically, the session was automatically deleted, and
yes,
that's why. And in the logout, we are trying to access the object that assuming that it is there, but then it was already decided. That's why we are getting null pointer exception.
yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Yes. So, as said by
Okay.
Bhavana, over here, what is happening is this because you've been inactive for 5 minutes, this object has been destroyed, and over here in the HTTP request.get session of false, you're trying to access the object that does not exist. And if you specify as false, it is not going to create the object. It try to get reference to the already existing object. And if you specify it as no value or true, what it does is if the object does not exist, it creates a new object. So that is the difference. Are we clear on this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Hassan, is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So that is the reason. So only on the first page you will use get session. That is, if the session does not exist, it will create a new session. Otherwise, you will be using false. Now, let's say you are not specifying the session.set maximum inactive interval time. If you're not specifying this session.maximum inactive interval time, and there will be another page wherein you can configure this. You can configure the maximum inactive interval time in the web.xml. So on the login module, I click on web.inf, and from there I go to web.xml. Now under this web.xml file, you have got all the configuration related information to your web application. And over here you can find the session config. By default, when the web.inf is created, again, if this is 30 minutes, over here it is 30 minutes. So by default, if you're not configuring this maximum maximum storage time, by default it is for 30 minutes for all the sessions. Let's say you want to configure this. Let's say I'm just making it to 1 minute. So now what is the inactive interval time for this? Over here I've configured it as 1. So if you're not setting this, so by default over here inactive interval time is 1. So after 1 minute, automatically the container will destroy the session. So you can configure it for this one session, or you can configure the same for all the sessions. Clear with this? All the sessions of the web application at the web app, you can configure this. So either you configure this or this. Are you clear on this?
How it is affecting globally when we what in when we specify it in WebDrive? Can you please repeat it? That I did not understand.
Okay. So when we say across all this, let's say okay, you have created this session.set attribute of username of user so on. So when you are not configuring for this set maximum inactive interval time, so by default this will be applied. This settings will be applied. So over here the default timeout period for the sessions for the session object created in the web app is 1 minute. So by default, the container will wait for 1 minute if you are not interacting with the website. Post that, it will log you out. So you don't have to. That is the reason we have commented this. Am I clear?
It will apply like after login for every pages. It will apply like for 1 minute.
Yes. Wherever session is there, for each and every page, it is 1 minute. Anyway, you will create only one session object. So for that session object, it is one. Now let us execute this. Let me save this. Oh, you have to wait for a minute. In the meantime, let us discuss something. So I hope the difference between request dispatcher and response.send redirect is clear. Now next what we have is cookies. Cookies allow the web server to store the information on the client machine. Cookies are sent in response from the web server. It is obvious. So we discussed that is okay. How does this keep me login works? If you're selecting keep me login feature, you are able to log in into the same website, to the same website from the same system or from all the systems. See, null pointer exception. So 1 minute. If you're setting the keep me login feature, you are able to log in from the same system without entering the username and password. If you select keep me login feature on one desktop, is it like that? Is it like you will be able to log in from that system only without providing the credentials again, or from all the system, from wherever you access the web or from wherever you access the site? Is it only to a specific system or to all the systems across the globe?
The specific system, right? If it is getting stored in the client machine.
Yes. So that information, as you said, if you're selecting keep me login feature, your username and password, the system will store it in the form of cookies. Your username and password. If you're selecting keep me login feature, username and password will be stored onto the client machine uh, in the form of cookies. It is obvious it will be in the encrypted format because password you cannot keep it in the plain text. There will be a lot of logic that will go behind to send and retrieve the cookies in the secure manner. So let us work on cookies now. Mm, So if you see over here, you go to the Google under settings. We have got show advanced history, and then I'll go with content settings. Under content settings, okay, you have various block third-party cookies, block sites from any data, and all this information. All cookies site data. So you click on this, okay, this is the information that is sent. So let's say if I want to delete all the cookies, I'll select remove all, then done. So you're done with this. So once you are done, oh yeah, I require one, what do you say, checkbox. Keep me login. So in order to do that, let us go to our index.html page. So over here, this is the stuff what you have. Log into your account, and over here you need to provide the checkbox. Input type is equal to checkbox. name is equal to keep me login. Keep me login. The phrase will vary from one website to the another website. Now let us verify our results by running this web page. Ah, okay. Keep me login. Okay, because CSS is applied to it, input type is equal to password checkbox. Yes. Let me refresh the page. Um, Align is not there. Okay, I'm not concentrating on the design because a lot of CSS is applied for the design, div classes, form, so it becomes difficult. So you have to change a lot in CSS. I'm not doing that. So what we are doing is, if keep me logged in selected, then then it should record your cookie information. It, it should store username and password in the form of cookie. So let us go to the login servlet again. So as usual, you need to retrieve this string keep me login equal to request dot get parameter of keep me login. So now if you are selecting this, you should check whether the user has selected this keep me login or not. So anyway, this code will not change. This code will be the same. Let me just put this down so that we get some space. So the score anyway will be same. Now next step what you have to do is whether to send the cookies or not. So what you will do, first you should check whether keep me login is selected. If it is selected, you need to create cookies and then send it. So whether to send the cookies or not. So first you should check whether keep me login feature is selected. So if what is that? So keep me. So it will if it is selected equals the ignore case on. If it is selected, it will return on. If it is equal to on, then you need to send the cookies. Cookie, this one. If it is there, then these are the steps. You need to create the cookies. So cookie is the name and the value pair. Cookie C1 is equal to new cookie. So this new cookie is the username and the corresponding value entered by the user in the text field. And then after you have created the cookie, you need to add this cookie to the response object, response dot add cookie of C1. The same way we need to create another cookie. Now if I want to create another cookie, cookie C2 is equal to new key of password pass. So create these two cookies and then add the cookie to the response object. Response.add cookie of C2. Done.
Atika, what other, like username and password, what other information in practical projects do they store it in cookie? Just few examples to get a better understanding.
Okay. Like whenever you want to track the client data, they'll store the information. Let's say, okay, if you're going with the Google, Google will record your browsing pattern now. What are the clicks you're clicking? Because Google will use all this information for uh, what do you say, marketing purpose. So Google will understand your browsing history. That is how you are browsing the web, what are the products you are interested in, or what are the sites you are interested in. So all this is used by the Google for marketing purpose. Next is, in order to track the client information, they will make use of cookies. Now over here we have already discussed, previously we discussed, let's say, okay, shopping carts you have. So let's say you're adding this item to the shopping cart, and if you observe this add to cart, this item has been added to the shopping cart. So once this item has been added to the shopping cart, this item, it is not storing on the server side. This is being stored onto the client side. You click on this and then you click settings and then content settings, all cookies. Now this is stored in each partition. For each site, a separate partition will be allocated within which it will store the cookies. Now eBay you have, these are the cookies that are stored in the eBay. So cart.ebay.in. Can you observe this?
Yeah. Yes.
So CJ session ID and expires when the browsing ends, and then this is the local storage. So this much data it is storing. So let me remove this and then done. Let us go to the eBay, refresh the page. I did not remove. Let me just go content settings, all cookies. Let me just remove all this stuff. So if you observe over here, okay, the cart has been it is empty. I think it was showing the information in some of
Yeah.
the
Hmm.
cookies as well. So over here, if you see the information, it has emptied the cart, so it is not storing this information onto the session. Sorry, on what do I say, server side. It is storing this information onto the client side. Over here, if you see again, they will already give this cookies. Uses cookies, web beacons, and related tools provided by the third party to provide you with services that make the eBay site more efficient for your buying and the selling activities. Now over here, once you shop for any XYZ item, let's say you're going with this mobile. So if you pick up any mobile phone, so now let me just go back. Now over here, if you see the related things, what it is showing is with respect to mobiles. Now let us select some other stuff. Let me select this camera. Now what happens is if you select this camera in next stuff, okay, in the next featured item list, take a look at the similar collections. So what it is doing, it is capturing your browsing pattern. This is called as machine learning principle. So machine will capture your browsing pattern, then based on that, it will show you the related advertisements. So based on the items what you are clicking, the machine is learning your browsing history. Based on that, it will give you, based on that, related
Backend, is it
products.
making, Atika, there's a question here. Say, suppose you have chosen a camera, but is it making any backend request to the server to retrieve more items like that, or that is also being performed in the client side itself?
No, no, no. All this information you will get it from backend. You don't get it from front end. Now again, this information will be used by the Google. Now if you are visiting any websites, if you have observed, all the advertisements what you will get is related to camera. Now let me go to some other XYZ
Mhm.
website. It's in this website, it doesn't have.
Yeah, no, no. I have also observed that what you're like, of late,
Hmm.
it's like you even becoming very like, suppose I look for some job or something, and those job advertisements coming in different website also, but I don't know how it works.
Again, that information will be captured by Google, what you say, Google. So Google cookies agreement, because it will be captured by the search engines. Somewhere you will get it. And privacy, under privacy it will be listed. They'll clearly mention that if you disable cookies, then you will not be able to see. So I don't know, but somewhere it will be there. You can just see cookies and similar techniques. Google Analytics is based on first party cookies. So Google Analytics can be viewed by the, can be linked by the Google Analytics customer or by Google using the Google technology, the third party cookies. They will sell this data, all your browsing habit. If you just turn off the cookies, then Google will not work. Google, Facebook, this doesn't work. So you have something that is called as Google Analytics that is helpful for analyzing the web traffic. Baapre. Sorry, 1 minute. Let me log into another. Just hold on for a second. Let me log in. Google Analytics. It is analytics.google.com. So once you have logged into this analytics, see over here you have all this. So for some XYZ website, it is recording this. See, like this, for some XYZ websites, how many users are accessing that page? Somewhere you will have user flow. How many, like 40, some 5 candidates has come from United States, China, South Korea, etc., etc. So all this information will be used by the cookies. So it will analyze the sorry, it will get the data and then they'll use it for all this purpose. So for all their operations, they use this. So these are reports. See all website data. I don't remember. Somewhere you will get that. We can just track it. How many people come see you? AdWords, AdSense, Ad Exchange, view settings, user management, so, e-commerce. So you can just track all the information with the help of this. I think I have tracked this to Facebook, I guess. So with the help of Google Analytics, you can do this. I exactly don't remember. I've done this some long time ago. But with the help of this, you will come to know, let's say you are you're releasing some product in some XYZ country. So if you want to release the product in some XYZ country, then if you want to analyze the internet market for digital marketing, you use all this. So the you will have Google will do the biddings for their keywords. Let's say you have got this google.com. So when you have this google.com, now if you are setting up a new mobile shop, so you should learn like what is the pattern I'm using for this. That is, if I have to search for mobile, what is that? Whether I'm using mobile or I'm using cell phones. You have got two synonyms, whether to go with mobile or whether to go with cell phone or mobile devices. So how people are searching that, how people are searching for what are the keywords that are being used by the people to search. So it differs from country to country, region to region, because lingo will be different. So this will be analyzed. Phone. See. Now let me just check it. What does it give? Phone. So it is giving you phones, etc. So it is understanding our SMS tone. So all your browsing habits will be captured by the Google, and again they will use it to analyze the market trends. I hope I'm clear. Do you have any questions?
Atika, so this kind of information is stored in cookies and then sent to the server for analysis
Yes, by default, without your knowledge, Google will use.
without our knowledge. Okay.
Yes, that is the reason, okay, as you have already observed, if you click on some jobs, then wherever you browse, you will get all the information or you will get all the advertisements related to the job. How is Google learning that?
Yeah, I see that's getting increased more because like not only the same website, whatever I browse and
Yeah,
if I access like some other website also that is getting so so the pattern is being captured as cookies. It is
yes,
sent to the server and then like we are getting other information. Page is automatically getting refreshed with other information related to that.
yes, that is called as targeted advertisements. because you are interested in job. That is the reason all the time it is sending you those posts,
Sorry.
because you are interested in jobs. So that is the reason it
No, no,
is
you.
showing you all the
Okay.
information related to uh, the XYZ stuff, whatever you have clicked on or whatever you have served earlier. So that is called as
Okay.
targeted advertisement. So what are the
Targeted advertisement. Okay. Okay.
yes. First time it will be random. Then from there on it will capture the information in the form of cookies, and then the Google engine will advertisement engine will analyze that, and then whenever it is sending the advertisements, or whenever it is displaying the advertisement, it will display the related advertisement. So that is called as targeted
Okay.
advertisement. So if you
Okay.
have time, okay, you can just go with this Google Analytics program. The tutorial is available on web, Google AdWords, Google AdSense, Google Analytics. So these are the Google tools that will be used for the digital marketing. Now, next what you have is, let us go back. So if you have to retrieve the cookie information, so now if you have to retrieve this, so what you will be doing is, you will make use of this real expression. So key dot whatever is the username dot value, it will retrieve that. And the second cookie what we have is value is equal to dollar of cookie dot password dot. Now let us execute this. John at the rate 123. Let us select this. Done. Now what we will do is log out and then log in again. Now if you see, because you have selected John at the rate 123, okay, previously, now this time, okay, you don't have to enter because the information is populated with the help of cookies. You can go over here to the settings and then again check it. Content settings, all cookies in the site data, local host, 3 cookies has been sent. One is the session ID, this one is username, and this one is password. Over here, if you see content, the content whatever, so you cannot send the same content over here. This is not the correct way. So it has to be encrypted and then sent it, because if you are just um, sending the company the plain text username, okay, fine, it doesn't make any difference. But password you need to encrypt and then send it. You cannot just send the password in the plain text format. You have to encrypt the password and then send it. So that will all come under backend. Okay. So this is all about cookies. Any question on cookies?
No.
So say cookie. You're storing the cookies in the response object, and the cookies are sent. And if you have to retrieve, that is when you are making the request to the website for the second time, browser will automatically send the cookies. And when the browser is sending the cookies to the web server for the next time, when you're making the request to the same web page for the next time, the browser will automatically send the cookies. And if you have to retrieve these cookies on the server side, the method what we use is request.getCookies, because the cookies are stored in the request object when they are being sent from the client to the browser. First one will contain user underscore Tom, and the second one will contain password. So get name to retrieve the cookie name, and c0.getValue to retrieve the cookie value. And then again c of 1 to retrieve the cookie name and c of 1 to retrieve the cookie value. Done. Final concept what we have is URL rewriting. Sometimes what happens is cookies they can, okay, you can block all the cookies from the server side because the client has the permission not to access any cookies from the server. So if the cookies are disabled, then again if you want to track the session,
Atika, voice is low again.
okay. If the cookies are disabled, now is it okay?
Yeah, it's okay. It's good.
Okay. If the cookies are disabled and if you want to track the cookies, still you want to track the cookies. So what you can do is, because the client is not accepting any cookies, if the client is accepting the cookies, then you can send or then you can track the client information. You can track the client over here. Sorry, all cookies and data. Over here you will write this local host. So you have got 3 cookies and then you have this JSession ID. Now over here you are being tracked by this number. The client is being tracked by this number. This is the session ID that the system has generated. It is being tracked by this number. So if you're not accepting the cookies at all, so what you do is you will copy this and then you will paste it to each and every URL. Login servlet. That is, you don't do this. Container will do this. JSession ID is equal to this. So to each and every web page, the container will paste this. That is, this is your actual URL, and the container will append the JSession ID to the URL. So this is called as URL rewriting mechanism. This is called as URL rewriting mechanism. That is, you are appending this JSession ID to the URL itself. To the URL itself. So even if the cookies are blocked, still you will be able to track the client request. You will be able to track the client by appending the JSession ID to its URL. Is it clear? And JSession ID will work if and only if cookies are disabled. If cookies are enabled, then JSession ID does not work. So these are the for total we have got 4 mechanisms. One is HTTP session, the second one is cookies, and the third one what you have is URL rewriting, and the fourth one what we have is input form hidden fields. Form hidden fields. Anyway, we don't go with the hidden fields. In rare cases you might use, but we don't go with the hidden fields because whatever you're tracking, it is all visible on the web page. So you will go either with first, second, or third. Based on the requirement, you have to select the appropriate session handling mechanism. Any questions? So try to implement this. Do we have any questions for today's session?
I have one question, Atika. When we will use HTML and when we'll use JSP?
Okay. The question asked us when you should use HTML and when you should use JSP. Now, HTML it is static page. HTML it is a static page. If you are doing or if you are accessing any server side variables, this is all server side data. Dynamic. This is all dynamic. So request scope, if you are processing or if you want to add any dynamic functionality to the website, then you should go with the JSP. If it is only HTML, only static content, then you go with this HTML. If you want to add any dynamic content to the website, then you should go with the JSP. This is the dynamic content what you are adding. Request scope is dynamically. At runtime, this is being added by the server side. This is again from the server side. This is cookie object, it is from the server side. So for this purpose, you should use JSPs. Any
So
dynamic content.
when we use like a username and password and accessing the database and checking, and if we save data, that time we use the HTML, right? So is that part of dynamic, right?
Yes, that is part of dynamic. Now
But we
on
use HTML.
onto the HTML page, if you want to print any dynamic information, if you want to access the stuff from the server side, this is the request scope.error. This is being accessed from the server side. If you want to add any dynamic functionality, then you should go with JSP. If it is just plain HTML, only just based on tags, then you should go with the HTML. Clear with this?
Now, my question is like when we use if we connect with database and if we check like username and password,
Hmm.
in that case we used HTML, right?
Yes, it depends. Because now look, username and password. If you're doing username and password, if you're connecting with the database, well and good. But if you have to display that the username and password is invalid, that message is being sent from the server.
Right.
So you have this index1.jsp and you have this error message. Request.set attribute of error.username or password is invalid. So if you observe this message, you are accessing it over here. So this error message, you are sending it from the server side. So this is dynamic. It may be displayed or it may not be displayed. This is dynamic. So this message you are accessing from the server side. So over here, this page should be processed by the JSP engine because your browser don't know how to interpret request scope.error. Your JSP engine can interpret this. So this page will be processed on the server side. Are we clear on this?
Yes.
So the difference comes here. HTML, everything is like just on the client side,
Yes.
it can interpret and display. But JSP, some server side processing is there.
Yes. For JSP, all the
I mean, if we include it, if we include these kind of variables, server side variables, so some server side processing is there in JSP.
yes, from the server side, it will process it and then it will send the data.
Okay.
From the server side, it is processed and then this data is sent as again in the HTML format. So all the processing will be done on the server side and the response will be sent in HTML to the client. Clear with this? All processing will be done on server side. Hassan, does this answer your question or?
Yes.
So with this, we'll wind up the session for today. Kindly request you to practice all this and then Monday we will be working on up to servlets we have finished and then okay we'll be starting with JSP few like JSP will not take that much time. It is a tag based language, we can cover that in a minute.
Sorry, Monday, what we are working on? JSP?
We'll start with JSP.
JSP, okay.
Yes. We'll wind up the session for today. See you on Monday.
All right. Take care. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you,
welcome.
Atika.
Okay,
Thank
welcome.
you. Bye.
So bye bye.